You know, these aren't jokes, these are thoughts, these are things that make you say,
this may seem terrible, but my God, I didn't know you were black.
A few things before I get to our Prince of Pan-Africanism, who said he aimed to achieve global supremacy with the school. Okay? The first thing is what he did on Roland Martin. But look, I don't want to talk about interracial dating, Frederick Douglass, or nothing else though. I'll tell you why I played this clip. Back in about in a minute.
Harry Belafonte has a white wife. No respect for him?
It would be very, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your social status.
So no. I didn't say social. I'm talking about the one who put the work.
Right, but you put him out.
No. I'm asking you. So Harry Belafonte.
Yes, sir.
Sidney Poitier, Julian Bond, Vernon Jordan.
And you're naming all them to say what?
No, these are all African American men who have
done some good things.
No, who have married white women. But you said any black man who marries a white woman will not get your respect.
Can I respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
And what I'm telling you is this. I don't care who you name. I don't care how much work you did for black people. Your greatest commitment to black people is being committed to a black woman. It is still a contradiction, no matter how much you think you did for the struggle.
I played that clip for the ones who, when Umar gets rebuked, y'all like to suck him off or hiding behind those supposed good deeds of his. You heard the names Roland cited, and you heard our Prince say that nobody is above reproach. You know, like y'all be doing Taalik and your half-hearted fake outrages against him. Before you rebuke him, you need to remind him that you liked Hidden Colors. Oh, Taalik, I really liked Hidden Colors. That's what y'all do. Or y'all are suck him off in the middle of your rebuke like, hey, Taalik, I don't like that thing you did. But now, Taalik, don't get me wrong. Now, I loved Hidden Colors. I loved the Hidden Colors series. That was a wonderful thing you did for the black community. I really loved it. I really loved it a lot. All of y'all do that. Or like in the videos I did on Dr. Claude Anderson, y'all will come tell me how intelligent and well-spoken he is and how educated he is and how much he loves his people and all the rest of those shields y'all throw up when these people be getting the rebuke that they got coming. But that black power mouth though. Some months back I gave an example of Dr. Claude's black power mouth when he was sitting on some city council soliciting money from the city to open up what he called what he wanted to call a black town. And when he saw he was getting close to getting the money, he opened that black power mouth and told the officials that he didn't want anybody doing business there but black people. They said, oh, really? Okay, get out.
Games, man? Hey, I'm fucking somebody up. Hey! What the fuck is this? Did you see this shit? I can describe all of them.
Self-sabotage. Because you can't go to city officials and get city money and tell them that you're going to openly discriminate. And nobody can convince me that a man of that stature didn't know that. Now our Prince. He's been running around for, I don't know, about a year and a half stalling y'all on that school he said he was going to open. And one of his stalling tactics is to say that he's being sabotaged. Just as he does when somebody critiques, questions, or rebukes him, he calls them haters. Let's hear this minute.
There's about 50 schools available in Detroit. I could only see a couple, and I'm not even being shown the best of the best. The same thing happened to me in other places around America too. So I just want to let the family know that I'm doing my best. We're still going to open up the school August 21st, 2018. I'm trying to keep it in America. I'm trying. But if I can't find something that's going to be workable, I'm gonna have to take it to Africa, which would be my first choice anyway as a Pan-Africanist, but I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna send your kids to Africa because you ain't got that African mindset. But tomorrow I'll get a chance to go back to the Aisha Shule. I'm gonna have some inspectors. They're gonna walk through the building and they're gonna let me know what it's gonna cost to get it up to par. Now the price that I was told the school is going for, I'm not even gonna mention it, but I think it was too high. So that's the other problem I have. Not only am I not being shown good schools, the schools that I am being shown, they hiking the price up on me so high, making it almost unaffordable.
Now, there was just one of more examples of how he been calling his lack of a school sabotage. Now, this man dumps on Christians, Muslims, hairstyles, eating habits, type of schools black people go to, leaders past and present that black people admire, how people raise their kids, what kind of jobs we work and who we work for, and everything else under the sun about black people. But he's going around blaming somebody named Sabotage. And if I can remember, I'll put the link to a video I did where I went through a step-by-step demonstration of how he never planned on opening that school and what he really planned on doing with that money. If I can remember, I'll put it in the description box. But he blames everything and everybody except for that black power mouth of his. Now let's hear this 30 seconds of this reckless mouth.
The oppression has become overt again. They're not hiding it anymore. It is in your face, and they don't care who sees it. And because they have stepped up their aggression, we have to step up ours as well. It's time to stand up and die for what we believe in. It's time for that. It's time, and I normally don't talk like this. I choose my words very carefully, as you know. But it's time for one of us, when we get into a fight with one of these police, to take that damn weapon and blow its goddamn brains out. And I say that in honor of every black man, woman, and child who have been beaten or murdered by police. It's that time.
Running that black power mouth with reckless abandon. You call yourself a public figure looking for public properties while you advocate taking police officers' guns and killing them with it. Advocating for your own people to end up dead, but you call it sabotage. And with the nerve to be like these people on here talking against gangster rap music, but your lyrics suggest that they end up dead, in jail for life, or on the run for life. And I've told y'all over and over that these people's job is to keep y'all isolated from everything and dependent on them. Their job is to get y'all to emulate them, and that's exactly what y'all do. Y'all speak and type with unguarded tongues and fingers, which put y'all out there looking like terrorists. Y'all say whatever you want, whenever you want to do it, with no regard for the effectiveness of stealth. Now let's hear these 90 seconds.
It was difficult to get a venue for you here in D.C. And
yes, it was. Yes, it was. But thank God for the Thurgood Marshall Center.
Yes.
You know, they opened up their doors to me, and they actually did the same this past December, which was the last time I spoke in Washington, D.C., just prior to the new year. The situation that happened at Power Talk a few weeks ago was rather unfortunate, and I would be honest, it did bother me to an extent because I never thought that our elders, especially conscious elders, would be capable of that type of a sabotage. With me being their son, with me being, the leader of the next generation, so to speak, it was very unfortunate that so many people came out to hear me, and yet through whatever dealings took place, that I was actually sabotaged, manipulated out of, presenting what I had come to present. But be that as it may, I forgive them. We all make mistakes. And it definitely has affected my relationship, rather, because you have to be able to trust the people that you're around. And doing the work that I do, it's a very dangerous. Because I'm not just talking about history. I'm not just talking about culture. I'm not just talking about Egyptology. I'm talking about organizing to face the challenges that are up against us today as a people. So my scholarship, more than a lot of other people's scholarship, is very, very threatening to the American social order.
As usual, you sucking yourself off again with that black power mouth of yours. And you love to brag about your 6 degrees every chance you get. And there you were, setting yourself above everybody and as the leader of the next generation. And also, along with that sneak diss, when you said that you're not just teaching culture, you're not just teaching Egyptology, that's a sneak diss to the ones you've been calling dusty hoteps. You have dissed the conscious community, and listen, I don't care. Diss the conscious community all you like, please do it. They got it coming. To hell with them. But you have dissed the conscious community for years, over and over, but you have the audacity to be disappointed that these people who you call elders cut you short. Now, you figure that you can disrespect anybody and everything. And nobody but your groupies like to hear you brag of that 6 degrees every chance you get. Nobody but your groupies want to appreciate that. But you call these things sabotage. Now let's hit these 30 seconds.
I support the brothers and sisters who burned Ferguson the hell down. I'm glad they burned that shit down. I'm glad they burned Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, Walmart, and all that shit. And then they talk about black folks as loot, going in there stealing TVs and sneakers. You damn right they stealing. If I was there, I would have stole that shit too. Chicken wings, DVDs, and everything else. You want to know why? No, you know why? That is ours. That's reparations.
Can be seen coming from a mile away. Absolutely no regard for the effectiveness of stealth. That black power mouth doesn't care who looking or who listening, but still wants to be a public figure that doesn't get sabotaged, as he puts it. Maybe these people have heard these things I've played plus some and concluded that they not only won't help you, but they will stand in your way. You trash homosexuals too. And trashing homosexual these days, man, that's like trashing Jewish people, man. That, hey, you asking for trouble. You really asking for trouble messing with them. So maybe they've been stopping you. Maybe Christians have been stopping you. Maybe Muslims have been in your way. Maybe weed wearers have been in your way. Maybe the interracial data's been in your way, and every other kind of black person been looking to stop you because you be running that black power mouth of yours, disrespecting everything about everybody. Like the many times you've been prevented from speaking at certain places. But it's not your black power mouth or your pompous attitude, though, right? It's just sabotage. This last clip, if we haven't already, we'll learn right now why everything is sabotage and people like to come against them for no reason. But let's hear this minute.
Because a lot of you guys go out of your way to advocate and defend and take up for me. And I don't need to be giving you extra battles to fight. But I am so very thankful for you all who did stand up and fight those battles for me. Nothing does a heart better than to go on Facebook or Instagram and see a brother or sister who you haven't even met yet, and some you have, smacking some of these trolls up and dismissing some of these trolls and checking some of these trolls because it makes my job easier. In fact, personally, I believe to some extent I shouldn't even have to respond to hate. I think y'all should do it for me because of the work that I've done, because of my record, because of how many children I've saved, parents I've helped.
For something that he did, you who I talked about in the beginning of this video, you should do the defending for what he should have been apologizing for. And he brought up the work he says he put in. But so what? As he dismissed other people's work on the Roland Show, as he does all the time. Passing the responsibility on to y'all. Passing the responsibility is what he does. That's why sabotage gets the responsibility. I'm done.
Before we get started, I want you to please bear with me as I struggle with my second summer cold. So that's going to be an issue bothering me, but I wish to speak with you, and it's wonderful speaking to you. It's an honor always to speak with these who are the descendants of slaves born in America, having dark skin, the people I call the people of soul. Actually, I did not call us the people of soul. We did that ourselves when we were on a correct path to self-identity. And that search was disrupted. It was destroyed. So that we can now be what we are and where we find ourselves today, in a state of confusion. Too many people doing too many different things. Too many people making claims. We are this and we are that. We are Hebrew Israelites. We are Moors and we are whatever. But there is no specific umbrella where all of these who are the descendants of slaves can fall under, so that we can work as a unit for a common purpose, goal, and so forth, if that is what we truly wish. And this is something that our brother Dr. Umar Johnson should be striving for also, being or wanting to be a leader of this downtrodden, confused slave that was just released and just wandering, trying to find his place on this earth or on this or in this society. Please bear with me again due to my summer cold. Please bear with me, because I will be, and I know I will be all over the place, but I will stick to the subject matter, even though I might jump from this point to that point and it's unrelated or whatever. I'm going to do the best that I can, because I have so much to cover, and quite honestly, my notes is all over the place, so I have no choice but to have my speech all over the place. With that said, I would like to begin by saying this and making or bringing clarity to my position. Listen. First of all, number one, where do you go on social media where you are asked to use common sense, reason, analyze information, put it under a microscope? Where? Think for yourself. Where do you go where the leader, the one who is offering you this message, where do you go where they are telling you to use your own brain? And that it is not about them, it's about us and our ability to use our brains. Not brains, plural. Not dependent upon a brain, singular. The only place you hear that is from this rostrum, is because I understand I can be a figurehead. If you want me to represent us on a rostrum, I can be a figurehead. But I do not want to be your leader, because a people should be a leader unto themselves. So you can assassinate me and bury me 20 feet under the ground. It makes no difference, because since the people are a leader unto themselves, they will continue to go and progress forward with or without me. This is a proper, if you are a leader, this is the proper mentality you want for your people. They can survive with or without you. They don't need a leader. We only need a figurehead to represent. And if you don't represent me correctly, then you need to be removed from your post by any means necessary. This is the only place that you will find, whereas somebody is asking you to think for yourself. Use common sense. I don't care how much book learning you have. I don't care how many DVDs you listen to. I don't care how much scholarship you have. Everything has flaw. Everything has error. It is not perfect. It is not factual. Anything that comes from men is not factual. So it must be dissected. It must be examined. You must use your own common sense. Be able to reason. The criteria of logic. All these different things. If your leadership is not asking you to do that, then you need to really question your leadership. What is it really about? Do you want somebody to ask you, advise you to do for yourself, or do you want somebody to do your thinking for you? In other words, you just want to be a slave. If you want to continue to be a slave, this is not the place for you. Go somewhere else and stay away. Go find your massa somewhere. I don't want to be your massa. This is a roster for the free mind. This is the roster for a people who can lead themselves. You don't need a leader. Only a figurehead. And when that figurehead, like I said, does not represent the people, then you move that figurehead out the way and you put someone who represents the people and what we want, what we represent, what we strive for correctly. I'm not interested in being your leader. I'm interested in being your little brother and making leaders out of a people. Bringing a people together so that that people can be a leader unto itself. Not bringing praise to some individual or a specific organization. Please bear with me. We're talking here. I'm going to try to make our... Well, actually, I want to spend some time with you. Come on, can we spend some time? Can we talk? Can we listen? Not hear what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. There is a difference between listening and hearing something. To hear means a clap. You hear the sound. But to listen means you're more involved in the detail of what actually creates the sound. What fingers actually are hitting together in order to make, how is the form of the hand in order to cause the sound for it to be the way that it is. You're trying to listen to what is going on instead of just hearing a clap. What makes the clap happen? Wow. Please bear with us. Please bear with me. We want to talk about our brother, Dr. Umar Johnson, and hopefully I don't want to, and don't tongue tie, and I don't wish to continue to speak about Dr. Umar Johnson, but I want to speak about oh wow, I'm so tongue tied. But I want or wish to speak about Dr. Umar Johnson because of his recent interview on TV One with Roland Martin, I believe. I don't keep up with everybody. Y'all are the experts in keeping up with so-and-so, Brother Polite, Sarsu Seti, and Sonetta TV, and Jesse L. Peterson, or whoever, Patterson, or whatever. Y'all keep up with all these different people. My priority is the liberation of the mind so that we as a people can unite and be free. I'm not interested in personality, but these personalities that we get off and involved in, they are hindering the progress to make that a reality. So that is why Dr. Umar Johnson must be a topic for me, because in reality, he is either a benefit to that goal or he is a detriment. At this time, I must humbly say, and I will explain why, our poor soul brother, self-proclaimed Pan-Africanist, whatever, he has become and is a detriment. I don't know whether this is due to ignorance or perhaps he is what some call a con artist, a scam artist. I don't know. But one thing that is for sure, on the current path, the current mindset of our soul brother, Dr. Umar Johnson, the result, the end result is not good. I don't wish failure upon no brother or sister, no soul brother and sister striving to honestly make a change or wanting a different life for the so-called Negro, the descendants of slaves born in America, having dark skin, the people of soul. Why should I be upset? Why should I be a hater of anyone trying to do something good for a people who is made mockery of, maligned, spoken in malice of, done so wrong? Why would I wish for them to fail in that effort? The late comedian Richard Pryor said that we should be happy for any, I don't want to say the word, but you know the N word. I don't want to say it today. I will say it, but we're going to say the N word right now. Richard Pryor said, be happy for any N word that is doing anything that is positive. And I have no problem. When I see positivity, and there are those out there who know I have no problem with donating and giving my money to anybody doing anything that is positive. I have no problem with that. If Dr. Umar Johnson is doing something that's positive, I will support Dr. Umar Johnson. If Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam is doing the positive, I have no problem with that. I can support that. The Hebrew Israelites, the Moors, the Caucasians, whoever you are, when I see positivity, I can support that. However, at the same time, when we become so arrogant, when we become so self-righteous, as the Quran always say, and the Muslims ask Allah, oh Allah, guide us on the right path. How is Allah going to do that? Allah is not going to come to your house and knock you on the door and have a conversation with you. Allah must send a man. Woo! Speaking to the Muslims, because y'all don't understand. Allah, if you expect to stay on the right path, then Allah sends a man to you. Your problem is you think that Allah is supposed to send somebody who walk like you, look like you, talk like you, act like you, and that's not always the case, because Allah also in the Quran says that He chooses whom He pleases. So whoever He brings to keep us on the right path don't necessarily have to be a black Muslim. Whoever God sends to keep you and us on the right path don't have to be a Moor, don't have to be a Hebrew Israelite or Kemetic or Pan-Africanist or any of these persons that y'all believe in, because God chooses whom He pleases, and that's where you make your mistake. You're so high and mighty and arrogant and self-righteous, and you are know-it-all. So when a baby, of which recently happened to me, a 7-8-year-old child came to me and said, sir, you are wrong. You are incorrect in what you're talking about. So at first, I am the all-knowing adult. What can this child, for real, what can this child tell me? That's the arrogance. That's the self-righteous, the know-it-all. I've been around 50 years. What can this 7-year-old child tell me? But see, if you truly are wise and have come up and matured in your years, then you need to control that arrogancy. You need to control that thing in us that make us believe we are more than what we are. Looking at somebody who we find as an inferior. So I asked the child, exactly what is it that you find with me in error? And this child, this baby, told me, and you know, I told the child, you are correct. You got me. I will try to do better. I need to correct that. I did not run around, oh, I'm grown, you can't tell me. I told the baby, you are right, I need to correct that. And that makes me better person. So now that is something, that is a fault I don't have to worry about no more. So a child actually helped make their parent, their adult, their elders, make their elders better. So now I can be a better representative and help the child as the child grows up in life. So we must be careful of this self-righteous, this nasty, know-it-all behavior that clearly Dr. Umar Johnson and many of us, we suffer from. And because we won't deal with that fault, this makes us ineffective. Great entertainment make people feel good, but we are ineffective in the struggle in what we are trying, or we claim that we are trying to accomplish. Now, all right. So I wish no harm, I wish no ill will to nobody like my brother Umar Johnson or even brother Louis Farrakhan. The same questions, the same scrutiny that I place upon Dr. Umar Johnson or brother Minister Farrakhan is the same scrutiny, the same questioning that I would place on myself. And it is not to make you look like a fool. It is to make you look better because I want you to be successful. Because your success, if it is sincere, and it is not something that is grandiose, that is something beneficial to the whole of these who need somebody to help them. We are in very, very bad condition. The problem that we find ourselves in, including Dr. Umar Johnson, and I'm speaking about Umar Johnson. Many people, I just want to touch on our brother Louis Farrakhan. There are many who believe for some reason, you hate Minister Farrakhan and whatever. I don't hate nobody. But Louis Farrakhan or Umar Johnson or myself, nobody is above being questioned. Nobody is being above what they call being approached. Something simple. I just want to talk about something about Minister Farrakhan real quick. I was listening to a recent speech of Minister Farrakhan, and he was talking about how this little boy was teaching him about the ant, the little insect called the ant. And he was praising the little boy. Oh, I learned so much from this little boy. I don't know nothing about ants. I forgot what the scientific term for the study of ants is. But anyway, he was praising the little boy. See, I learned from this little boy about ants. Now listen, see, this is my problem. Minister Farrakhan, you say that you learned from the ant. Science says that the ant is approximately 160 million years old. 160 million years old. How can this ant teach you anything when, according to the teachings that you believe in, the black man has a history of 666 trillion years? So if you've been around 666 trillion, not million, trillion years, what actually can this ant teach you? See, that's what bothers me. It does not make any sense. What can this ant teach you? You've been around 60, you have 666 trillion years of experience compared to the 160 million years of an ant. These teachings, this black scholarship, the problem that I find in it is that it's not well thought out. When many people come and challenge this ministry and what I say, you have a problem because I have made an effort to think everything that I'm going to present out. I challenge myself. And you have not done that. Because on this rostrum, we need to use logic, reason, common sense, being able to analyze the information, dissect it all the way down with a microscope so that you can see not only the good points, but the bad points. We don't want to accept the reality of things. And you can call yourself whatever you want. Many of you see Louis Farrakhan and Dr. Umar Johnson as these leaders or whatever. But just because you want to claim that title, it does not mean that's exactly what you are. You have the skills to actually practice that and be a proper representative of that title. Back in the day, I went to electronic school, some type of electronic school. I wanted to learn about how to fix computers and radios and alarm systems and all kinds of things of that nature. One of the criteria that you must have in order to deal in electronics is that you have to have a sense of math, calculus, trigonometry, or whatever, the higher forms of math. My math has always been poor. I can tell you about addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, but when you start talking about trigonometry and calculus and these higher forms of mathematics. I'm just poor. That's just a reality. But I know this, but I'm going to go to electronic school because it sounds good. Did you hear what I said? Because it sounds good. And these people do make decent money. It sounds good. So I'm going to be Mr. Electronic guy. Knowing that my math is poor. So what am I doing? And what did I do? I set myself up for failure. Now I'm so tongue-tied. I could have went on and I probably could have passed and whatever. But I know that I would have been a poor, I would qualify on paper to be this electronic guy. But I know deep down in my heart, because my skills in mathematics is poor, I know that this is not my thing. So we have so-called black leadership, and we put ourselves in these positions. And we know, and people who are looking at us with any kind of sense, they can see clearly you are not a leader. Minister Farrakhan is a wonderful orator, charismatic, and all these different things. But clearly, after 40 years, he is not a leader of nobody. He's not a leader. That's the reality. Just like the reality that I am not. The electronic thing is just was not for me. It's a reality. I accept it. I have to find something else to do. I don't know. 40 years verify that Minister Farrakhan is not a leader. I don't know. Right now at this time, I cannot say actually if that is the case for Dr. Umar Johnson. I can't come to that real conclusion. And it goes back to our arrogancy. Nobody can't tell us nothing. So here I am on social media, and I say the things that I say. I'm not saying it to hurt you. I'm trying to tell you the error in your ways so that you can do better. But because of you are arrogant, you are self-righteous, and you are know-it-all, I don't have to listen to you. I have thousands and thousands of people following me, and that's the problem. Thousands and thousands of people also will follow a fool. Thousands and thousands of people will also go down to a little, what is that country where Jim Jones took those people and they drank Kool-Aid and they died by the hundreds? So just because thousands of people follow you, just because thousands of people listen to you, don't make you no damn competent leader. Don't mean nothing. Where have you led them to? You have led them to a bucket of Kool-Aid with some poison in it. That's where you led them to. Thousands of people listening to you, thousands of people praising you, don't make you a leader at all, period. That's a fallacy in itself. You have a herd of animals, and the ones in leadership will jump off a cliff, and the rest of them will follow. What does that tell us? But if the animals in the herd had the mentality that I am expressing from this rostrum, when those leaders jump off the cliff, they will look at the cliff and say, I ain't doing that. But that's the way we've become. We are herd animals. And you're silly. And you're childish and infantile. You don't think for yourself. So when your leader jump off a cliff, when your leader asks you to drink some poison, you will do it. I ain't going to drink no poison because Minister Farrakhan, you're going to do a whole lot of stuff because Farrakhan said so. And when it's all said and done, when it come down to it, you would. For whatever reason. So it's not about, it's about competent leadership. It's about having a well thought out plan. And Farrakhan and Dr. Umar Johnson, they don't have well thought out agendas. However, Farrakhan is smarter. He's a little bit more, I like Minister Farrakhan's style when it comes to handling the media and being questioned and things of that nature. However, Brother Farrakhan has not been on a round table where I have an opportunity to ask questions. I might make him lose it because we don't want to. I think the video froze a second there. Technical difficulties. That's just the way things are. But I will repeat myself real quick before I lose the thought. Minister Farrakhan is a wonderful orator. He handles the media, being questioned real nice, but also at the same time, he has not been questioned by the most powerful voice on YouTube and social media, myself. Now, and that would be a whole different ball game, believe me. Now, see, we have to, there is something called constructive criticism. I'm not trying to down you. I'm not trying to make mockery of you. I'm giving you constructive criticism because according to your belief, in order to keep you on the right path, God sends you a man. And God, Allah, chooses whom he pleases, and you don't like what God have sent for you to keep you on the right path, to make you successful. Because it's all about Dr. Umar Johnson. It's all about Louis Farrakhan. It's all about me. Me. Remind me of that Daffy Duck character. It's all about me. It's not about you. It's about a people who are in need of a severe change. Because if we continue on the path that we are walking, the end result is very, 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 very bad, or it could be just outright extinction. So just because you want to be a leader, don't necessarily mean that's what you are or should be. Now, let me talk about my brother, Dr. Umar Johnson. See, it's very important to have a concrete plan of action. Dr. Umar Johnson and Brother Farrakhan, they don't have these things. Your vision or whatever you see, it must be well thought out of and so that you can find and get all the kinks out of it. There's an old saying that comes from the 1970s, perhaps the 1960s also. But there's a saying that we as so-called black people used to say, and you would hear it on Good Times. How can we lose with the stuff we use? So the question is having the right stuff. The question is, are we doing, as Spike Lee says, are we doing the right thing? Because if you have the right stuff, if you're doing the right thing, how can we lose with the stuff we use? And nobody, nothing can stop you. Nothing. Because the right stuff doing the right thing, how can you lose? You can't lose. I hope that Brother Farrakhan or somebody close to Brother Farrakhan, I hope that Dr. Umar Johnson, somebody close to Umar Johnson, would listen to my words and take these words so that they can be and become better people. So if they are sincere in what they're doing, they can be successful for real. Because if you do the right thing and have the right stuff, there is nobody, there is no so-called coon, there's no cracker, there's nothing, there's no force that can stop you. Nothing. There's no interview, there's no questions you can't handle. It all falls in place. Now, let me speak about Dr. Umar Johnson, and let's call it a wrap for today. I don't know when I will see you again, or even if I wish to speak again, you know, in the near future, because this is a pretty long talk that should be able to hold us until, as they say in religion, if I'm blessed to speak with us again. Because see, that's another thing. We think or we believe we have all the time in the world. And I heard Soul Brother Sarah Sutton Seti, the general, he even spoke on this on one of his recent posts. The Negro. We believe we have all the time in the world to do whatever. Time waits for no one. If you are at a bus stop and you are supposed to be there at 8:30 and you get there at 8:35, the bus is on time, the bus has left you. That's just the reality of it. That's your fault. Not the fault of the bus driver. It's not the fault of traffic. It's not the fault of the little old lady trying to go across the street. It's your fault for not being on time and you missed the bus. Time is not going to continue to wait on you. You must do the right thing right now or suffer the consequences. And you and I must suffer the consequences for missing the bus. And our situation, it's worse. The consequence is worse than what happens when we miss a bus. I want to talk now about our soul brother, Dr. Umar Johnson. You know, this is a brother I do, you know, people, y'all don't understand. Just because somebody speaks about somebody, y'all call them a hater or whatever. Nobody hates nobody. You're silly. But when something is wrong, when something is in error, that's just how it is. You don't want to accept that. You live in la-la land. Look at your condition. What are you actually accomplishing? You have accomplished nothing. And you will not accomplish anything until you do the right thing. Have the right mentality. Everything must fall into place. And you can ignore the truth, the real truth. You can ignore what I say. You can ignore what other people with good intentions, what we're trying to tell you. You can ignore it. You will not accomplish nothing. But see, I guess as long as you can ride in fancy airplanes, play around in fancy hotels that you don't own the airplane, you don't own the hotel, you can run around and look like some type of big shot, that's good enough for you. So that makes you a liar, that makes you a deceiver, that makes you a manipulator, and yes, I'm going to talk about your ass. You damn straight. Coming to the people that I love with your damn lies, smiling in their face and stabbing them in the back. Yeah, you damn skippy, I'm going to talk about you. Because you're not right. And you're trying to trick and manipulate and deceive me too. I don't appreciate that. Take your lying ass somewhere else. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you know, I apologize. I didn't mean to get so. I don't like liars. I don't like manipulators. I don't like deceivers. I want to help Brother Johnson so that he can be successful. Because when Dr. Johnson is successful, I am successful. The little black boys is successful. We as a group that will soon unify as a people, we are successful. And that's what it's all about. I don't want to see none of us fail. If you are selling ice cream, I want you to be successful selling that ice cream, but don't sell the ice cream and you know that the ice cream had flies in it. We got a problem. We want to keep the flies out the ice cream. Let me try to wrap this up. So we can go home. And well, actually, you're already home. we are already in the comfort of our home, so we can do other things. But hopefully, like I said, I hope that those who support Brother Farrakhan or Sarah Sudin-Seti, Brother Polite, Sarnetta, Dr. Johnson, and all our brothers and sisters that's out here who are sincerely striving and trying to do something of a benefit for us. I am not here to hurt you. I am here to help us. You are not my... Let me make something clear. You are not my enemy. I know who the enemy is. Let me say this quickly about our brother, Dr. Umar Johnson. Let me say this very quickly. I am the prince of Pan-Africanism. What is it that he says? Oh, I'm the most sought out speaker. Everybody wants to hear me speak. I'm the prince of Pan-African. These titles, this arrogance, everybody wants to hear me speak. So many, because they want to hear you talk. You have not built a school. You have not done anything of substance. So what is special about they want to book you so they can hear you talk? Because they are talkers. The only thing they're going to do is talk. You're going to talk. You are going to go to your next speaking engagement. They're going to go home and talk. Nobody is doing nothing of substance. So what is it that you're really bragging about? I'm the prince of Pan-Africanism. Our ideas is not well thought out. What is Pan-Africanism? Well, to simply say, Pan-Africanism simply is the unification of nations on the African continent. That's what it is simply. However, history and current behavior tell you that that does not exist and has never existed. Those nations on the African continent have never, listen, they have never been united. They have never viewed themselves as one people. Never. Even to this day, even when the Europeans was ravishing the continent, they were so filled with self-hatred. They were so filled with themselves, their self-righteousness and arrogance. So when it was easy for the Europeans to come in and take over Africa, they did not find, they would rather die. They would rather be destroyed than come together against a common enemy. And the same behavior exists right now to this day. You have the Chinese, of course you have the Europeans, you have others coming from everywhere to ravish, rape, take advantage, exploit the people and the resources of that continent. And instead of unifying as one for the best benefit of all those on that continent, all these nations stay separate. They are not interested in Pan-Africanism at all. And right here, the so-called Negro in America, so-called black people, I call us the people of soul, we are not interested. We are not a people. We are in these groups. The Hebrew Israelites, the black Muslims, the Comedics, whatever, the Christians, all of us are in our separate groups. We are not interested in black unity at all. Period. We would rather be destroyed. See, this is what makes dark-skinned people, this is what makes you very, very sick. You would rather, you hate me so much, you despise me so much, you would rather die than unite with me against a common foe that wants both of us dead. This shows you how silly we are. Because I critique what you do, because I don't believe in what you're talking about, you would rather distance yourself, and you would rather both of us die when our common enemy comes to kill both of us. That shows how sick and woo, man. So Dr. Umar Johnson is the prince. Excuse me, I should have gotten me some water or something to drink. But Dr. Umar Johnson is the prince of Pan-Africanism, and it only exists in theory. The reality is that does not exist. So you are the prince of something that does not exist. So I don't know why you bragging, I'm the prince of Pan-Africanism. It does not exist. That's just like me saying, I'm the prince of Donald Duck on the moon. Does not exist. So what am I saying? If I'm the prince of Donald Duck on the moon, what am I really saying? You are the prince of Pan-Africanism. What are you really saying? It does not exist. And those of whom you are directing that to, they are not interested in making it a reality. I'm the most sought out speaker. So what? That's all you're doing is running your mouth. You have no school. You have no farm. You have no factory. You have nothing except running your mouth. So why are we being a braggart? Why are we so arrogant? And really you don't represent nothing. On the recent interview that Dr. Umar Johnson had with Roland Martin, it continues to show us that soul brother Dr. Umar Johnson, our poor brother, has a temper problem. That's what I like about Minister Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan, so far, in all the interviews that I've seen by Brother Farrakhan is able to keep his emotions in check when he's in that type of atmosphere. He knows how to keep a smile on his face. Umar Johnson has a temper problem. He's a psychologist. You have to understand this too. Umar Johnson is a psychologist. He understands psychology. So since he knows psychology, he understands how to attempt to heal the mind, he also understands how to deceive. Listen, he also understands how to deceive and manipulate, trick the mind. You and I must understand that. He's a psychologist. That's his thing. He's a doctor. I heard Pastor Ray Hagins talk about Umar Johnson, and he calls Dr. Umar Johnson the son that he never had. And Pastor Ray Hagins went on to say that people are jealous. They hate on him and Dr. Umar Johnson because they have real doctor degrees. They actually went to school or whatever, and they earned their degrees. And you have a lot of these other persons on social media claiming to be a doctor, and they don't have an honorable doctorate or nothing. They just calling themselves a doctor, whatever. So that makes you special. That makes you credible. That makes you valid because you have a degree from some cracker university. Because chances are you didn't go to a black school. HB, what's that? Historically black college or university. But anyway, you have a degree. So the hell what? What that makes you special? Because you are a doctor. So what? Don't mean anything. We keep praising and trying to make ourselves and put ourselves on a level by trying to use these titles. But when it's all said and done, you're a doctor and you're a scholar and you are whatever the hell you wanting to be. What are you producing? What is your scholarship? What is your having a doctor title? What are you producing? You're not producing nothing but talk, a bunch of rhetoric for those who are looking to feel good because they don't want to do nothing either. You don't want to do a damn thing for real. Your people that listen to you don't want to do a damn thing. So all of y'all caught up in Disneyland, fairyland crap. That's why many of you stay the hell away from me. You don't want to be around me because we're going to work and we're going to be successful because we can't lose with the stuff we lose. I mean, use. Sorry. It's early in the morning. I got a cold. Come on. Criticize me. Trying to get through this with the cold. I'm not thinking this is the best time to debate me. When I have a cold, I'm not feeling really well. And maybe you might have a shot. Maybe you might have a shot of making it very clear that I am certainly not the most powerful voice on social media. I don't think so. Even in my weakened state, I don't think y'all know whatever. Let's keep talking about and bring to conclusion about our brother. Again, not trying to make mockery, not trying to degrade, putting some things out there so that if he listens to what is said, so if those who follow him or those who follow him and wish for him to be successful so that he can be a better person, let us not be arrogant, self-righteous and so high and mighty you can't listen to somebody. I'm not talking to bring you down. Caught up in these titles. I'm a minister. I'm a scholar. I use titles. His Divine Masculine Soul Brother, Angel Snub Up 7, the most powerful. That's beautiful. I don't trip. It just sounds nice. I don't trip off of that. That does not do nothing for my ego or nothing. It's just something that's said. It sounds cool. That's all. I am not better than you. I'm not better than your little baby that was just born that does not know nothing, that's drinking out of a baby bottle. I'm not better than that baby. I'm not better than you. I'm not better than none of us. We bring things together to make all of us grow and mature for our benefit. Not for my benefit, for our benefit. So those who are infatuated with Dr. Johnson, they may say, oh, Dr. Johnson, he was sabotaged by Roland Martin. He won the interview. And let me tell you something. Dr. Umar Johnson has an anger problem. He does not do good on these interviews. His position is not well thought out of. And when these people start questioning him and his position is not well thought out, he becomes angry, he becomes defensive, and he becomes ghetto. So I listened to him on Jesse L. Peterson. I believe that was Jesse L. Peterson's show. And this caller got him so upset. I forgot what it was about. But Dr. Umar Johnson has an anger problem. And on the Roland Martin show, when that brother called him a liar or you're lying, and then Dr. Umar Johnson called him a coon, see, that goes to show you us. That goes to show you he ain't ready. Dr. Umar Johnson is not ready for prime time. When that man called him a liar or told him, I think that you're lying, the only thing Umar Johnson had to do was say, sir, I think that it's very inappropriate that you would call me a liar. You know, I take offense to that. However, see, but you're going to call this man a coon. That shows you're not ready for prime time. It shows very clearly your mentality. You're not ready for this. Your agenda, whatever you have on your mind, it is not well thought out. It sounds good. All kinds of stuff can sound good. You can make a cake and the recipe can sound good, but when you actually start trying to put the cake together and don't put those ingredients together in the right manner, the end result is not something that's beautiful. Matter of fact, the end result might not look like a cake at all. What was you? Hey, what was you trying to do? I was trying to make a cake. That don't look like no cake. That look like a waffle or something. Well, that's still some kind of cake. No, you was trying to make a cake. Dr. Umar Johnson has an anger problem, brothers and sisters. Dr. Johnson, you have an anger problem. You need to deal with that and understand that. And work on solving that problem. Don't get angry at me because I'm telling you about it. Just deal with that. You're acting ghetto. You're acting like the N-word. Louis Farrakhan would never have fallen into that trap. But Dr. Umar Johnson wants the same type of praise and celebrity Louis Farrakhan is getting. But Louis Farrakhan has not, after 40 years, the reality is Louis Farrakhan, thousands and thousands of people, millions and millions of dollars, 40 years of whatever, and has produced nothing. That's the bottom line. That's the reality. You can point to a little bit of this, you can point to a little bit of that, but you cannot point to the cake. You can only point to ingredients and the fact that something got stirred, but you cannot point to the actual cake has been produced. No cake from the Nation of Islam. Now, Umar Johnson wants to build a school. But the school that he wants to build, he offers no plan, has shown us no plan. How you going to do it? Do you have the permits? All the things that's necessary. How you going to pay for this? How you going to pay for that? When you do something like that, there has to be some type of plan that you put on paper. Things like this, you put on paper first. And then others can look at the paper, and then we can actually decipher whether or not this is actually something that can be done. But even without that, what Dr. Umar Johnson wants, him alone, he cannot do by himself. It takes much, much more money than $700,000. Takes a whole lot. And he doesn't have it to do what he claimed he wants done. On a much smaller scale, he can pull it off. But for what he's talking about and what he has hyped the people up, no. No, 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 no. It's not going to happen. You might be able to open up a school, but it would be closed before the week is out. That's just the reality of it, people. And it is also, here you are, a Pan-Africanist, so you claim, self-appointed prince of Pan-Africanism. Then, if you are a leader like that, then a school is nice. However, the first priority of any leader should be food, clothing, and shelter. So you're going to build a school, how you going to feed the children? If you're going to build a school, how you going to clothe the children? If you're going to build a school, where are the children going to live? Where are their parents? Where are the people going to live? You need food, clothing, and shelter. Where is the food going to come from? It's going to come from the white man. Where the clothing going to come from? From the white man. The Taiwanese, the Chinese, whoever making clothes. The shelter. The white folks, whoever going to build the... With what money? I'm going to do... Dr. Umar Johnson said, I'm going to do all of this with no government money. I don't want no white man's money. The $700,000 that you have came from people who chances are the majority working on the white man's job. What you talking about? If these crackers gave me $1 million, you think I'm not going to take it? Why not? They take, whoo, I don't understand y'all mentality. These crackers take from us everything they get for the last 500 years. And I'm not going to take their money. They have no problem with taking money or sex or anything from us. I'm not going to take that. See, your thinking is all warped and you live in fantasy and delusion. What you talking about? And all your $700,000 coming from middle class and poor people like usual. I have a problem wasting the money of people who don't have nothing. And we are donating to Dr. Johnson. We are donating to Farrakhan. We are donating to all these people because we're looking at you. Oh, wow. See, the so-called Negro looking for a savior. They're looking for somebody to say, so I don't mind giving you $10 because you're going to save me. I'm going to help you build a school because you're going to save me. I'm going to donate to you because you're going to help me get closer to Allah. You're going to help me get closer to Jesus. We're looking for somebody to do something for us like that. Instead of looking to ourselves, we're looking for a savior. And we also want to put all the blame. Well, I gave to help Farrakhan. I gave to help Sarah Sudi or Polite or Dr. Johnson. You don't want to take responsibility for yourself. You want to put all the pressure on Dr. Johnson and Farrakhan and Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. You don't have to accept responsibility for nothing. It's all about them. You're looking for a savior. But that's how it is when you have a slave mentality. When you have a slave mentality, you're always looking to follow somebody, find a savior. Somebody got to do something for you because you are inadequate yourself. You don't know how to do nothing for yourself. A slave depends on his or her massa. And that's what you're looking for. You mad at the white man, so now you're looking for a slave massa with a black face. That make you feel better. Excuse me, I'm so thirsty. But I'm almost done. Let me get through this, okay? Let me go back to Pan-Africanism. And we keep talking about this African stuff. I have said this countless times, and I'm going to say it again. Africa is a continent. There's a video, well, not a video. There's a picture of Brother Polite with some Caucasian pink Playboy bunny woman, whatever. She's wearing some type of dashiki African dress or whatever. And there are many of you who are upset because this pink woman is wearing this dashiki African dress thing, whatever. What country, what nation, what people does that? People, somebody is saying that's part of black culture. What people do that represent? What African nation? What people do that dashiki stuff? Africa, listen. How many times do we have to y'all, I don't, whew. Ooh, it's so frustrating. There are over 50 nations on the African continent. What nation, what tribe, what people do that dress that that Caucasian woman wearing? What culture does that represent? Tell me. Talk about black culture. Show me, how does that represent black culture? That does not represent black culture. That was a sad attempt to put all Africa into one place. It don't represent nothing. That was a sad attempt on the part of a slave who don't know no better, in ignorance, made up dashiki and all this other African supposed to be looking stuff or whatever, because it comes from nowhere, to try to put all the people on the African continent in one bowl. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. I'm a Pan-Africanist. What the hell? What is an African? There is no people on this planet called African. That's a continent. What people are you talking about? Somalian, Ghanaian, Rhodesian, Congolese? Who are you talking about? Nigerian? Who are you talking about specifically? You sound so crazy. African DNA. What are you talking about? No such thing. And above all, these people on this continent never have been united. They have never viewed themselves as one people. Never. What are y'all for real insane? Are y'all that stupid? Are you that silly and childish? Umar Johnson, you have a lot of work to do, because much of the stuff, much of this black scholarship, all this stuff don't make sense. Let me go back real quick and talk about Dr. Umar Johnson being a psychologist. Dr. Pastor Ray Hagan talking about they are psychologists. Don't you understand? And I want you to know that the psychology degree is the easiest of all the degrees to earn. It is not respected by nobody. Psychology is not it's more quackery. It's not a valid science. So you don't see those in mathematics or biology or any of these other disciplines. You don't see them making reference to nothing from psychology. And even when you go to the diagnostic manual of psychiatry, it would tell you that all of this is theory. They don't know. So what does that tell you? Psychology is the easiest degree that somebody can earn. Also, what Dr. Umar Johnson is talking about is nothing magical. It has been known for decades. The Church of Scientology, I don't care nothing about the religion. I don't care nothing about Scientology itself, Dr. Ron L. Herbert. But I would tell you that the Church of Scientology is 1000% fact. Everything they say about psychology. You can go to the, it's called the Commission, the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. That's the Church of Scientology. In fact, I would tell you, they are the only people that tried to help me when I was locked up. When I was locked up, I contacted the Nation of Islam. I contacted all the black lawyers in the phone book, the Urban League, these black organizations. None of these black organizations did nothing for me. None of them. But the Church of Scientology tried to help me. In fact, it was their information that helped me to understand the situation that I was in. And Dr. Umar Johnson is talking nothing that the Church of Scientology has not already. In fact, they even have pamphlets specifically telling you that psychology targets black people. This is way before of Dr. Umar Johnson. So when Dr. Umar Johnson appeared on the scene, I already knew I knew that what he was saying was right. I already knew this for years. I learned it from the Church of Scientology. And I also know that the psychiatry degree is not respected. It's the easiest that you can earn in getting some type of doctorate degree. So I don't know why you bragging. It's nothing. It's not really a legitimate science. It's quackery. I don't know why you want to try to brag. I'm a doctor in psychology. That's because most of us really don't know what psychology is. I know what this stuff is all about. So I am not impressed at all about it. There are many claims that Dr. Johnson is making, but I want to say this before I get into those claims because it really don't mean anything. I mean, you can claim to be whatever you are, but what it is, people make these claims to make themselves look more valid in the eyes of those of whom they are trying to impress or deceive. I'm going to bring this talk to a conclusion. But I want everybody to understand this about leadership. When you look at Louis Farrakhan, when you look at Dr. Ray Higgins or Umar Johnson, Sarasun Seti, Young Pharaoh, Sonetta TV, Brother Polite, More Science Temple, whoever it is that's making a claim, they are the leaders of black people. Black people leaders want to be whoever's trying to make this claim, they want to be the leaders of the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin. If you truly are or you want or wish to be a leader of the descendants of slaves born in America having dark skin, so-called black people, African Americans, so-called Negro, whatever, you must represent all of us, no matter where you find us. If we are married to Caucasian people, if we are involved in interracial relationship, you have to stand with us. We are still black. We are still a person of soul. You still supposed to want my liberation. if I'm homosexual, if I'm a drunk in the street, wherever you find black folks, your priority, all these other things, you can deal at a later date. Top priority, you want to liberate all of us from an oppressor. I'm not here to be your slave. I don't want to convert to your religion. I don't give a damn about your belief. I just want to be free. A leader understands this. So when you come to this rostrum, I don't care if you're a homosexual. I don't care if you're a drunk. I don't care if you're married to a white woman. I don't care if you're married to a white man. I don't give a damn about none of this stuff. I want all of us liberated. I want us to unite based on a common goal and purpose and liberate ourselves from this oppression. I could care less about what you do in the bedroom, that you eat pork or whatever it is. I don't care nothing about that. Now, once we begin to love one another, respect one another, see, that's another thing. You don't respect nobody. You really don't love nobody. I love you. You married to a white woman. I love you. You're a drunk in the street. I love you. You're a stripper. I don't care nothing about that type of stuff. We would deal with that after we get liberated. Then when you get liberated, then we can have these discussions about these issues. But we would do it in respect and we would do it in love. I'm not going to force you and hate you because of the decisions that we make. However, if you once you get liberated and form your people in a proper manner, a lot of these things will begin to disappear anyway. So what? You're supposed to represent all of the people. I'm not going to trip off interracial relationship and you a homosexual and all this other crazy stuff. Because I'm not trying to convert you to nothing. I want you simply free. I want you to get out from under the control of an oppressor. No more, no less. I want us to unify with one another and create a whole new reality, a whole new identity, and go to places we've never gone before. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I'm not interested in your morality. I'm not interested in your religion or your Afrocentric black point of view. It means nothing. It has done nothing for us. Okay. Now I can actually, for real, bring this to conclusion, because after looking at all my little notes, there's nothing really left to speak about. I've taken enough of your time, but I just really enjoy speaking with us, because I want us to think and I want us to be successful. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I want you to be better. If you tell me, brother, you got spinach in your teeth, then I'm going to get the spinach out of my teeth. I don't want to run around talking to people. I got this green crap stuck in my teeth. You know, you're trying to help me. But then there are those, hey, brother, you got spinach. Oh, what you trying to say, man? You know, who the hell are you? What you looking in my mouth for anyway? You know, we have to, so silly and stupid. Dr. Johnson, in conclusion, whether I donate to you or not, you are directing your words and your wants to a certain audience, and that would include me. That would include anybody that looks like me. So that gives me and others the right to question you. That gives us the right to scrutinize. I don't care how angry you get. I don't care how upset you get. I don't care how those who are infatuated with you talk about, you just trying to create division. How can I create division when we was never together to begin with? People always tell me, you trying to create division. In order to divide, something must be united to begin with. I have never been united with you. You have never been united with me. So how can I divide us when I never was together with you? How can I divorce from you when I never was married to you to begin with? I can only be divorced from somebody I was united in matrimony with. The things that you say, y'all don't think clear. You just talk and run your mouth and you don't think about what you're saying at all. So there are those who question Dr. Umar Johnson's credentials. Is he really a doctor? It's very simple. If I'm a doctor, my credentials is very easily looked up. Put it out there so that people can look it up or whatever. Scan the documents, post the documents, do whatever you want to. Just make it clear. But when we're saying something, it does not look right if that's not what you're doing, Dr. Johnson. It does not look right. Because if you have all these degrees, it's on paper, scan the documents, post it, and be done with it. That's not an issue no more. You are who you say or what you are. Here's the documentation. There you go. Boom. No problem. Very easy. But it's not easy when you're making a claim, but that's not what you are. You can't prove it. I heard that the family of Frederick Douglass is saying that you are not a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass. However, you say somewhere in there you are in the family some kind of manner. But I believe your rise to fame, what you basically said in the beginning really was that you are a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass. I believe I heard you say that in some speech. You didn't say that you was in the family somewhere. You actually said, I am a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass. And you began to explain how this was, but yet the family don't know nothing about you. And if you are in the family, you're not a direct descendant. You're not actually in the actual bloodline of Frederick Douglass. Which all these things really, see, they really don't mean nothing. But see, the problem is, and I'm not going to call you a liar. Because this issue I really don't care nothing about. But we say things and we want to make claims in order to sell ourselves as something that we really are not. Well, actually, I do have a problem with it because that's called you are a liar and you are a deceiver and you're a manipulator. You're trying to benefit and you're trying to make yourself look in the eyes of a people so you can get whatever you want from them. Whether that is praise, whether that is sex from women, gullible, naive women, or money, whatever it is. The bottom line, brothers and sisters, is that the problem that Dr. Johnson finds himself in is he has a severe anger problem. And if you listen to that video where he talked about Soul Brother General Sarah Sutanseti, he just couldn't hold back. That tells you what he's not ready for prime time. And you are going to follow him. You're going to call him your leader. He's not ready for prime time. Because people in the world today are very smart. They are very intelligent. And I, myself, I embrace those things. I want, see, the difference between myself, Farrakhan, and Dr. Umar Johnson, I don't run away from you. I don't run away from you when you question. When you scrutinize me, I want you to find my faults. I want you to find my error, because I'm going to clean myself up. So the next time we meet, that's not going to be an issue. You're going to have to find something else. That's why a lot of people talk about who know me or who have had interaction with me. They always say, you think you perfect. No, it's not the fact that I'm perfect, because I will never, and plus I don't know what that is. What is perfect? No, that's not the problem. The problem is, if you have a valid, of which that's what I'm presenting to Dr. Umar Johnson, that's what I'm presenting to all these brothers and sisters that's out here. I'm presenting valid, credible error. Either you clean it up, or you're going to continue to face the things that you find yourself doing. People don't do me like that, because when they bring it to me, and I think to myself, you know, that's a good point. I work on it, clean it up, so when they come back again, I can easily, you can't say that, brother. I clean that up. You can't talk about the spot on my shirt. Brother, I washed it. The spot is no longer there. See, I went to the laundromat. I don't have a washer and dryer at home like you guys do. I went to the laundromat and I washed the spot. I cleaned my shirt up. Your leaders, the people that you follow, are arrogant and self-righteous. They don't think like that. They won't clean themselves up. And they want you to be so stupid and silly, you are going to follow them no matter what they do. And you look silly when people smash them and crush them and make them look dumb and stupid. You feel messed up because you're following them. But that's what you're asking for. But however, when you get to the point where you clean yourself up, you're not self-righteous. You think everything that you have, you think all this through. Instead of it based on emotion. Our problem, we get caught up in hype and emotion. We get caught up on hype rather than substance. These so-called leaders are not producing anything of substance, only things that cause you to be emotional. So you cry and you whine and you get upset with me. Oh, you talking about Dr. Clark. Oh, you talking about Dr. Ben. Oh, you talking about Sarah Susan. Oh, you talking about... You be crying and whining, snot coming all out your nose and all this kind of stuff. You get all emotional. And that's all you can talk about, the emotion, because there's nothing of substance. There's no school. There's no factories. There's no farms. There's no... friendships in all walks of life. You have nothing else to direct me to. Nothing. Except your emotional tense. Who cares if a slave cries? You've been crying going on 500 years. So what? But Dr. Umar Johnson and some of you others, you need to clean up your act. And the bottom line and the consequence is time is running out. You playing games in a house of fire. You either get out of the fire or you stay in the house and you will burn up. Or, as in religion, they talk about go to hell. Burn up in fire. But you will not be in the hell forever. This fire will burn you up, and that'll be it. You're not going to be burning forever. And like I said in another video that get people upset, maybe death is the best thing for all of us. You don't have that many choices. You need to overthrow your oppressor. You're not going to do that because you're scared of white people. You don't even want to try. Just the thought of fighting the white man, overthrow, you just the thought of it scares you. So that's not an option. You need to separate. That scares you. What we gonna do without the white man? I don't know how to farm. I don't know how to make a computer. So that's not an option. And plus, I love Becky Sue. I don't want to separate from Becky Sue. So that's not an option. The next option is, why don't you shut the hell up and just accept being a slave, accept being a 5th class, 10th class citizen in this country. Shut the hell up. When they kill you, just cry and keep your damn mouth shut and just accept whatever happened to you. But you don't want to do that. You got to cry. Oh, they killed the black people. Oh, the racism. Oh, the white supremacy. That's all that you want to do that. And really, your last option, really, which really probably would be more honorable, would be all of us just commit suicide and be done with it. That would be more honorable than living the kind of life that we find ourselves in right now. That suicide would be more honorable. But, you know, it makes no difference what choice you make and what you don't like, because the choice is going to be made for you whether you like it or not. It makes no difference. However, however, a lot of this can be more intellectually dealt with if you had proper leadership. But you don't, and you don't want to follow proper leadership because proper leadership sounds too smart, and proper leadership is too real, and you don't want to accept the reality of what has happened to us in this nation. So until you accept reality, you're going to stay in the condition that we find ourselves in, and there's no God, there's no Umar Johnsons or Farrakhans or Sharptons or Jackson. Nobody going to be able to help you at all until you accept and embrace and understand, comprehend the reality that we find ourselves in. So again, love, not hate, to Dr. Umar Johnson. I want you to be successful. I want us to be successful and get up out of this horrible condition, but we can't do that until we accept reality. Until next time, y'all, like Brother Don Cornelius always said, until next time, I love us. I wish us love, peace, and soul.